How was this process? And you don't have to get into all the nitty-gritties, but just the ups and downs of some weeks look like you're going to play and then you don't. And finally you break through. What's that been like emotionally?
Yeah, it was really tough because I was thinking about it dating back all the way to 3rd grade when I started playing football. I don't think I've missed a practice or a game, definitely not a game. And I'm almost 100% sure I haven't missed a practice since then. So it's tough because I've never been hurt and any of that. So and it was especially tough getting ready for these games, and kind of something happens later in the week, and a lot of it was just trying stuff out because it's one thing to be able to do normal stuff, but you got to be able to block and play winning football at a high level. So I think that was the toughest part for me was getting that strength back and ultimately coming back from recovery. So it was pretty tough for me, definitely just being so close at the UCLA week especially, and getting all the way through pregame warm-ups, and then right before the game I kind of did a one-on run-up and it just didn't feel right, and so it was really tough. But the guys held it down, and they did Ryan Walk did a fantastic job. All the other O-linemen, everybody stepped up, so it was tough for me to watch from the sidelines and stuff, but it was really fun watching them go out there and play and have fun.
It feels like it almost maybe more taxing mentally than physically.
Yeah, no, I think 100%. I think it was just tough for me. Like I said, I've never been a guy that has missed any time with sports and stuff, and football is it's my life and it's what I love to do. So it's when that gets taken away from you, it's pretty hard. Especially when you're watching all the guys going out there and have fun at practice and having a blast on game days. It's tough, but I'm glad to be back out here and just practicing and playing and stuff. So
you said it didn't feel quite right before the UCLA game on a rep. Can you maybe speak to what that sensation is, or kind of how you knew that?
Yeah, it just kind of tightened up on me. It felt good throughout the week. I was kind of limited in some stuff, in some capacity, and obviously without going into a whole lot of detail, but it just before the game kind of tightened up on me, and I was literally right there and right on the cusp, and then it just I wasn't going to be able to go out and play at a high level. So that's hopefully it was good.
Did it originally happen with Stanford? Did it happen day of? Because we saw him pregame with knee pads and everything. Well, braces, whatever on. So did it happen pregame, or was it something during the week that just got worse and worse?
It was something that happened kind of during the week, maybe the game before. I'm not really sure 100% when it started, just kind of gradually. And then I was like, what, I'm gonna be able to go on game day. We kind of went through some stuff, and I was like, it's not holding up right now. So it was kind of a decision that we had to make with the trainers and all that stuff, and ultimately helped me out.
I don't want to speak for other coaching staffs around the country, but how nice is it with Oregon? They weren't pushing you out there, even though you probably could have gone in some situations.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was all up to me on how I was feeling. I really tried to push it because, like I said, I hate missing time and missing things, and so I think for me that was the toughest part. Is I want to get back out there. Like you gotta. This is something you can't rush back. You gotta make sure you're 100% ready to go. And so they were fantastic with that. Coach Cristobal and Coach Mirabal and training staff, Chief. So all those guys were really helpful with that. So I couldn't be more grateful to
What's it say about the depth of this O-line? Because all year it feels like every week we're seeing some kind of combination where it's like I don't think they've ever practiced that. And you're running really well. AB's protections feels really good. Just the overall depth of this unit to go through what you've gone through.
No, I think it's a tremendous kudos to Coach Mirabal and how he cross trains everybody at every different position. I'll give a shout out to Dawson because he's had to play literally every single position so far. So he's done a great job, and it's kind of funny. You'll be in the game, you're like, oh, this guy's next to me now. Like, what's up? Like, haven't seen you in practice, or haven't been with you in practice, and so you just got to go out there and roll with it. And we trust everybody in the room, and we're a really tight knit room, so there's a lot of trust and a brotherhood there. So I think that goes a long way for us on the field.
I think there was always outside the program some confusion of why there was so much cross training last year in games this early on this year, and it's just kind of feeling like I don't want to speak for you guys, but it's like, hey, this is why they were doing it. It's paying off.
No, I think that's a good point. I think we've been doing cross training stuff. We didn't do it a whole lot until I'd say 2020 is when we kind of started doing it, because you never knew if a guy was going to get COVID. You had to go and slide in that position. So I think for us right now it's kind of paying dividends right now, because you have guys that are getting reps at every different position. I know how hard that is, because I had to, when I was a young guy, I was getting reps at every single position from right tackle all the way through left tackle. So it's tough, and it's a lot harder than a lot of people think. So I think it's, but cross-training O-lineman is great, because then you can just slide in the next best guy. So I think that's really worked in our favor.
You were here in 19. How often in 19, 18 did you guys do that? even in practice, let alone in games.
Yeah, I think that was more like with the twos we do that. So like Ryan, Steven, Dawson and I, George, we'd kind of flop around. They didn't really do that with the older guys because they had been playing for forever.
So
even at that point.
substantial increase.
Yeah. So I'd say, and so I guess it's not really new for us because we've been doing it since the 2019 season, 2018 season, where we've had to play every single position. So for us, it's just kind of like, oh, it's just normal. So I think it looks weird with an outside eye, but for us, it's like, oh, that's just how it is. So
tough, obviously, to see Ryan go down.
Yeah.
But he's starting to get some national recognition, and then he came in as a walk-on. Just wanted to ask you, what was it like to see him grow from when he came in to now, and just his approach to the game?
Yeah, Ryan's a guy that I look up to and I compete with every single day on, it doesn't matter if it's a lift or conditioning session. We're best friends and we're brothers, so we compete in everything. We'll play NCAA football when we get home on the 360, and we'll be yelling, screaming at each other. So we're really high competitive guys. So we've been with each other, pushing each other every single day since we've been here. And he's a guy who really just grinded and he's living the dream. I mean, he grew up 2 miles down there, or a mile and a half down that way. So, he's a guy who just chased his dream, and it's really inspirational to see him really achieve his dream of, starting for the Ducks and playing. And he did a tremendous job at center. He plays all three interior positions really, really well. And he deserves every recognition he's getting because he just busts his butt every single day. And you ask anybody around this program, it doesn't matter who it is, and I guarantee you they'll say the same thing. So he's an inspiration to all of us, and he's a true leader on this team and someone we all look up to.
You said he's playing really well. Can you expand on that and maybe point to what was the most impressive part of him filling in for you, especially when it was a surprise, at least the first one?
Yeah, I think just with the calls and everything, and there'd be times where he got reps at center a little bit in the Stanford week. But the UCLA week, it was like I was going to play, so he wasn't getting as many center reps. So that was the most impressive because they run so many different fronts and stuff, and he's a really smart dude. So I had no doubt that he was going to, once I went down, I had no doubt when he went in there, they were going to be just fine. And they run a lot of stunts and stuff. So I think seeing that, and there was not a miss with any call or anything, and just the execution of it. The technique's pretty similar. The way Coach Mirabal teaches the technique between all positions, pretty much. There's a little unique techniques like with the center stuff and run blocking, pass blocking. But Ryan, he did a great job getting all the guys on the same page, and ultimately with technique and just moving people off the ball. He did a great job of that, and he's always done a great job of that. And so I love playing next to him because he just rolls out the ball and moves people.
To this week in particular, Alex, how do you go about the pre-snap of Stone in particular, and Woods is a guy who will blitz through the A's and B's on occasion. So what those guys bring? I mean, you played them before. But,
both they got a tremendous defense. I think they're 5th in the country in takeaways. They had 6 turnovers against Arizona, Arizona State, excuse me. So they really, they're looking to punch the ball out. They're looking to create, different fronts for us up front. 13, Jahad Woods, he's been a great player for them forever. So he's been there for a while, and I think he's got 380 career tackles or some crazy number like that. So, he just make plays. I know Stone, number 10, he's a really good player. I could go down the list of the 15 defensive ends that they play on each game, and they're all unique in their own way. And they run to the ball. You'll see the play's going all the way out that way, and the field end or the boundary end is making the play. And so that's something that you see constantly on film, and that means they just play hard. They're really talented, really, really fast up front, so it's going to be a really good challenge.
Going back to last week, I think the first snap was at the 1 for you.
Yeah.
And that obviously didn't turn out the way you wanted, both as a play and individual.
Yeah.
What a welcome back.
Yeah, no, exactly. A little welcome back for me. First live rep in, 35, some odd days, so it was definitely a tough one, but kind of bounced back after that. Started getting the groove of things, I think, towards the end of the first quarter, and definitely once I got to the second half, kind of got in the groove of things for sure.
Can you speak to just what's made this matchup so difficult or so competitive, I should say, for both teams? Because I think 2-2 against them, and you've been around this program for a while, growing up, that knowing historically this is not a game that has been competitive. And now it is.
I think that's a tremendous kudos to their program and what they've been able to build there. I think they present a lot of challenges offensively. I don't really watch their offense, but seeing it in the years past, I know they run a lot of difficult things, especially defensively. All the movement they do that can kind of screw with offensive line. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great challenge. I think that's something that's challenged us in the past. And you watch the film, and it's a challenge for not just our line, but it's a challenge for every single offensive line out there. They run, like I said, they run a lot of unique fronts, stemming, slanting, literally everything. They kind of open up the playbook against us. So it's going to be, a really, really good challenge for us. I'm really excited.